The journey God takes every chosen vessel through. When God decides to place his hand on a person, something shifts quietly, deeply, and without warning. You may not see it at first, but you feel it in places you can't explain. A stirring, a restlessness, a sense that the life you've known is too small for what's rising inside you. It's not excitement. It's not ambition. It's something heavier, holier, almost like heaven whispered your name. And when God chooses you as his vessel, he doesn't make an announcement. He doesn't ask for permission. He simply begins his work sometimes in ways that confuse you, stretch you, or even break you, not because he is punishing you, but because he is preparing you. You may find old desires fading, old circles feeling foreign, old habits no longer fitting who you're becoming. It can feel like you're losing pieces of yourself, but in reality, God is removing what was never part of your destiny. Being chosen isn't glamorous at first. It's disruptive. It's uncomfortable. It's a calling that reaches into your spirit before it shows up in your circumstances. And if you're listening closely, you can sense that he is setting you apart, even if you don't fully understand why. Some of you watching this feel that pull right now. You feel the transition. You feel the pressure. You feel the mystery of God rewiring something inside you. And part of you wonders why life has become so intense, so suddenly. It's because God is crafting a vessel he can trust. Before he pours his glory into a life, he shapes that life with his own hands. Before he uses a voice to speak for him, he refines the heart behind it. Before he releases a calling, he strengthens the character that must carry it. What you're experiencing isn't random. It's not a mistake. It's the signature of a God who sees what you cannot yet see. And if you feel chosen, marked, or stirred in this season, then you're exactly where he wants you. Because when God chooses you, everything changes. And that change is the beginning of your transformation. Number 1. God separates you before he elevates you. When God chooses you as his vessel, the very first thing he does is pull you away from what once felt familiar, not because those places, people, or habits are evil, but because they can't travel with you into where he's taking you. Separation is God's way of clearing the noise, so you can finally hear his voice with clarity. This kind of separation feels nothing like victory. It feels like loss. You start noticing distance where there used to be connection. Conversations feel different. Environments that once energized you suddenly drain you. The things you used to enjoy no longer satisfy the deeper hunger rising inside you. And while you may not fully understand it, your spirit knows something holy is happening. God did this with Moses, pulling him out of Egypt long before sending him back. He did it with David, calling him out of the fields before placing him in the palace. He did it with Paul, separating him into the wilderness before launching him into ministry. Every chosen vessel experiences divine separation. It is a pattern of heaven. This separation is not rejection, it is promotion in disguise. God isolates you so he can instruct you. He removes some voices so he can refine yours. He closes certain doors because he is preparing a new one that only opens to those who have been set apart. Sometimes the separation feels painful because you're shedding versions of yourself that you've worn for years. But God knows that destiny and comfort rarely live in the same room. He disrupts your normal so he can introduce you to your calling. If you feel alone in this season, don't misinterpret it. God is not abandoning you. He is bringing you closer. He is turning down the volume of the world so he can turn up the volume of his spirit. And even though you may not see the full picture yet, you are being positioned, because elevation always begins with separation. Number 2, God breaks what is not from him so he can build what is. Once God separates you, he begins the work. Every chosen vessel must face the breaking, not the breaking that destroys, but the breaking that rebuilds. This is the stage where God reaches into the places you've been hiding, the fears you've been denying, the wounds you've been carrying, and the identities you've created to survive. God breaks what is false so he can establish what is true. He did it with Jacob when he wrestled him into becoming Israel. He did it with Peter when he confronted his denial and turned him into a rock. He did it with Gideon, stripping him of fear and insecurity before making him a mighty warrior. Being chosen means God refuses to let you live beneath your purpose, so he dismantles the pride that blocks you. He confronts the bitterness that poisons you. He exposes the insecurity that limits you. He reveals the trauma you've tucked away, not to shame you, but to heal you. This breaking is not punishment, it's preparation. And yes, it hurts. Because God is pulling roots from deep places. He is cutting ties to old identities. He is dismantling the you that life created so he can reveal the you he designed. Many times, the breaking feels like everything is falling apart, when in truth, everything is falling into place. The breaking is where God removes the counterfeit strengths you leaned on. The breaking is where he strips away the masks you learned to wear. The breaking is where he shows you that your power was never the point his is. You may feel vulnerable. You may feel exposed. You may feel undone. But trust this. God never breaks a vessel he doesn't intend to use powerfully. And when he is done, you won't just be repaired. You'll be transformed. Number 3. God puts you through wilderness training. The wilderness is not a punishment. It is God's training ground. It's where he takes every chosen vessel to prepare them for the weight of the assignment ahead. This is where he stretches your faith, disciplines your emotions, purifies your motives, and deepens your dependence on him. The wilderness is where God teaches you to walk by faith when nothing makes sense. Moses spent 40 years there. David hid from Saul there. Jesus himself fasted and fought the enemy there. The wilderness strips away the illusion of control. You can't rely on people the same way. You can't rely on comfort the same way. And sometimes, you can't even rely on your own understanding. Everything feels quieter, slower, harder, and that's intentional. God is developing something inside you that convenience could never produce. In the wilderness, God teaches you obedience. You learn to trust his timing, even when it feels late. You learn to follow his voice, even when it leads to unfamiliar places. You learn that his presence is your true provision, not the things you used to depend on. The wilderness builds endurance. It develops resilience. It forms character, because the destiny God is preparing you for requires a version of you that can withstand pressure, disappointment, warfare, and responsibility. The wilderness toughens your spirit while softening your heart. If you feel stuck, delayed, hidden, or forgotten, remember this. God hides his chosen vessels before he reveals them. The hidden season is not the end of your story. It is the foundation of it. And when your wilderness training is complete, you won't just come out stronger. You'll come out transformed, anointed, and ready for the very thing God has been preparing you for. Number 4. God fills you with a burden that ordinary people don't carry. When God chooses you, he places something in your spirit that feels too heavy for an ordinary life. It's not anxiety. It's not pressure. It's a divine burden, holy weight placed on the heart of someone God trusts. This burden doesn't come from your own desires. It comes from heaven. You don't pick it. It picks you. It's the kind of burden that wakes you up at night, the kind that makes you cry over things others ignore, the kind that makes you feel responsible for problems you didn't cause. Moses felt it when he saw his people suffering. Nehemiah felt it when he heard Jerusalem's walls were torn down. Jeremiah felt it so deeply, he said the word of the Lord was like fire, shut up in his bones. When God chooses you, he lets you feel what he feels. He places compassion in your spirit that doesn't fade. He gives you vision that won't leave you alone. He stirs an ache inside you for something greater, something higher, something eternal. This burden is not meant to crush you, it's meant to guide you. It pulls you into prayer. It pulls you into purpose. It pulls you into places you wouldn't have walked into on your own. It becomes the compass that directs your calling. But here's the part many people miss. Divine burdens are often misunderstood. People around you may think you're overreacting. They may call you dramatic, intense, or too spiritual. They may not understand why your heart breaks for things they barely notice. They don't see what God showed you. They don't feel what God placed on your shoulders. The burden proves you're chosen. It shows that God trusts you with something sacred. It shows that He believes you will carry what others would drop. It shows that He sees a strength in you that you haven't even discovered yet. And sometimes the burden feels overwhelming, but that's because it was never meant to be carried alone. God gives the burden, and God gives the grace. If you feel a holy heaviness in your spirit, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Pray through it. Let it shape you, because the burden is not a sign of God leaving you, it's a sign of God choosing you. Number 5. God gives you discernment that others don't understand. When God chooses you as His vessel, He sharpens your spiritual sight. Things you used to overlook suddenly stand out. Things you used to accept now trouble your spirit. Conversations hit differently. Environments feel different. You sense motives before anyone says a word. You feel spiritual tension before anything explodes. This is discernment, and it is one of God's most powerful gifts to His chosen ones. Discernment is not suspicion. It is not paranoia. It is not fear. Discernment is the Holy Spirit whispering, "Pay attention." It's the divine instinct that warns you before danger arrives. It's the inner voice that says, "This is for you," or "This is not of me." It's the spiritual clarity that reveals the truth beneath the surface. Because when God chooses you, He cannot allow you to walk blind. Your steps carry purpose, influence, and spiritual impact. So He gives you eyes that see beyond appearance. He gives you ears that hear what others can't pick up. He lets you feel the spiritual temperature of a room the moment you step into it. But discernment can feel isolating at times. You see threats others dismiss. You recognize blessings others ignore. You pick up on spiritual shifts others label overthinking. There will be moments when you sense God shifting you away from people who still look trustworthy. Moments when God warns you about decisions that seem logical on the surface. Moments when you feel Him urging you to wait when everyone else is rushing ahead. Discernment protects the chosen. It guards your calling. It keeps you aligned with heaven's timing. And the more you listen to it, the sharper it becomes. This is why chosen vessels often feel different. Not because they're superior, but because they are spiritually tuned. They walk with insight, conviction, and intuition that doesn't make sense to ordinary reasoning. If you've been sensing things you can't explain, don't doubt yourself. Don't silence the Holy Spirit's voice. Don't let others talk you out of what God is showing you. Discernment is heaven's way of guiding your feet and saving your destiny. Number 6. God surrounds you with battles proportionate to your calling. One of the clearest signs that God has chosen you is the level of warfare surrounding your life. Chosen vessels walk through storms that ordinary people never face. They fight battles they didn't start. They endure attacks that seem unfair and unrelenting. But the intensity of the battle is evidence of the magnitude of the calling. Great calling attracts great warfare. Look at Elijah confronting Jezebel. Look at David facing Goliath. Look at Joseph surviving betrayal, slavery, and prison. Look at Jesus Himself in the wilderness, battling the enemy face to face. Every chosen vessel faces pressure, conflict, resistance, and spiritual warfare, not because they are weak, but because they are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Your battles are not random. They are targeted, precise, strategic. The enemy doesn't waste bullets on people who pose no threat, and the weight of your warfare reveals the weight of your assignment. This is why the chosen often feel attacked from every direction. Finances, relationships, mental battles, losses, unexpected setbacks, loneliness, temptations, internal warfare, external pressure. It feels like everything is being tested because everything is being tested. God allows these battles not to break you, but to build you. Battles sharpen your faith. Battles strengthen your authority. Battles toughen your spirit. Battles awaken your spiritual gifts. God uses warfare to prepare you for influence. He uses pressure to develop endurance. He uses opposition to reveal your true capacity. The devil's attacks are not signs that you're losing, they're signs that you're chosen. He is trying to stop what God is raising inside you. He is trying to wear you down before your breakthrough arrives. He is trying to convince you to quit before the promise manifests. But hear this clearly. Every battle has a purpose, and every battle has an expiration date. No storm pulls you backward, every storm pushes you toward destiny. If your battles have been intense lately, take heart. Heaven equips its vessels on the battlefield. You are not being crushed, you are being prepared. You are not being defeated, you are being strengthened. You are not being abandoned, you are being anointed. What you're fighting is proof of what you're carrying. And the God who called you is the God who will bring you through every single battle with victory. Number 7. God reveals His glory through you, not just to you. When God chooses you, His ultimate intention is not merely to show you His presence, it is to reveal His presence through you. A chosen vessel is not just someone who experiences God. It is someone who becomes a living expression of His power, His compassion, His truth, and His character in the world. This is the stage where everything starts to make sense. The separation, the breaking, the wilderness, the burden, the discernment, the battles, all of it was preparation for this moment, the moment God decides you are ready to carry His glory. When this happens, doors open that you never knocked on. Words flow from your mouth that you didn't plan to say. Strength rises in you that you know didn't come from you. People feel peace in your presence because they're encountering the God who now lives freely through you. This is what happened with Moses after the mountain. His face shone with the glory of God. This is what happened with Peter. His shadow began to heal the sick. This is what happened with Paul. Demons recognized the authority he carried. When God uses you as His vessel, the supernatural becomes natural. Not because you're special, but because God is now flowing through a surrendered life. You begin to speak with authority. You begin to love with compassion. You begin to walk with boldness. You carry peace that confuses people. You carry fire that awakens others. And the beauty of this stage is that you no longer need validation. You no longer need applause. You no longer need recognition, because you finally understand. It's not about your name, it's about His. Being a vessel means God trusts you to represent Him in a world that desperately needs Him. It means He can send you into dark places because He knows you'll carry light. It means He can give you influence because He knows you won't steal His glory. It means He can bless you because He knows you'll use the blessing to bless others. When God reveals His glory through you, lives change, atmospheres shift, prayers get answered, heaven meets earth, and the world sees Jesus, not because you preached louder, but because you surrendered deeper. Conclusion: when God chooses you, everything changes. If you're listening to this, and something inside you is burning, trembling, awakening, that is not emotion, that is not coincidence. That is the Spirit of God confirming that He has been shaping you, stretching you, pruning you, and preparing you for something far greater than you imagined. Being chosen is not easy. It is not comfortable. It is not glamorous. It is painful. It is costly. It is transforming. But it is the greatest honor a human soul can carry. God separates you to refine you. He breaks you to rebuild you. He trains you to strengthen you. He burdens you to guide you. He gives you discernment to protect you. He allows battles to elevate you. And then, when the time is right, He shines His glory through you. If you are in the middle of the process, don't give up. Don't shrink back. Don't misinterpret the season. What feels like loss is preparation. What feels like isolation is consecration. What feels like warfare is promotion. What feels like breaking is becoming. God is molding you into a vessel He can trust, a vessel He can fill, a vessel He can send, a vessel He can use to change lives, shift atmospheres, and carry His presence into places others cannot go. This is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of your unveiling. Walk forward with courage. Walk forward with surrender. Walk forward knowing that if God chose you, then no force in hell can stop what He plans to do through you. You are His vessel, and your destiny is already in motion.